Mr. Anderson, it is inevitable. Welcome back. Qatartainment's alive again. Sorry for the
Cringy intro.
So, welcome back. Qatartainment here. What are we talking about?
The Matrix 4, to be exact, Resurrections.
You probably can tell what the story is about. It's literally about resurrections. But most of it is also about reincarnations. We saw that the movie had 60 years. To Neo, he thought it was 20 years.
You can live a whole lifetime in one dream if you don't get disturbed and stuff, like in one night.
We also have to consider the war. You know that the analysts took over from the architect, created a new Matrix. I think, and then when the analyst took over, then he resurrected Neo.
When he was talking to them, it took like 20 years to put them together and to bring them back and all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
They weren't just there in the pods. They were almost like part of the code. And whatever happened with them would affect the rest of the Matrix. She thinks she's a mom and she has kids. He thinks that he's a game designer, but he's starting to get that feeling again that something is off. Because they say in the movie, they can look at the code and see that the person is full blue pill. So they're fully like indoctrinated.
Yeah.
And then there's others where they could see like some of the red breaking through. Because in this world, in this one, everybody takes the blue pill.
We see also traces here and there in the movie how they jump from one place to another. You know, they just use windows and doors.
It's almost like when you try to save a game and
Yeah.
you can't because you're in combat, but once you clear the combat area, then you can save it and quit.
Yeah, but I think they used landlines before, just to go back to the Nebuchadnezzar. I think that's gone now.
Yeah, no, now they're on the headset.
The headsets now.
It's
Yeah.
like Discord, you know.
Ironically, which is the same thing that the agents used in older movies to
Yeah.
communicate to each other. So they're using the same technology.
Machines who saw the treatment of humanity and didn't think it was right, they've teamed up with us, and they're helping humanity with the technology. So a lot of the advancements that we have now
That's right.
is because of them. So some of that tech for people to get in and out, the communication, and even like coding that they're able to export from the Matrix to create food. So they're not eating that porridge anymore. Now they have like fruit and other things. And the machines and humanity have come to an agreement. Like, if you don't bother us, we won't bother you, but don't keep waking people up and all that kind of stuff.
They weren't dependent on the machine, and they found a way to coexist with the machines after the last Zion War, which Neo sacrificed himself for.
Bugs then started going into the Matrix. She was able to wake up Morpheus. So Morpheus was in the form of Agent Smith. So there's a code in the Matrix that she was able to break because she's a bug. So now Morpheus is alive again. And now they've started pulling out
As a reincarnation.
as a reincarnation.
Because after the trilogy, there was the Matrix Online, which was an MMORPG or whatever, okay? And in the game, the first big event that happened,
Oh God.
Morpheus was killed by the assassin who is made up of like little bug-looking things, which is what they look like now
Yes.
when they're in the real world.
So,
So that's why they couldn't bring back Lawrence Fishburne, because they were so hardcore about their canon, they wouldn't bring him back.
Again, it's a reincarnation of Morpheus. You could have still used the same
Actor.
person, the same actor. So going there, so he got resurrected, Neo got resurrected, and then so they started training him again. When they pulled him out, he still doesn't believe that this is happening.
So now it's just them trying to get him snapped out of it. I don't know what you guys think about the fights and the action.
What was nerfed?
If you look at the trilogy, all those fights were choreographed by Ewan Ping. They were long takes, they were wide angle. It was Asian cinema, basically. All right. And then in this one, there are so many cuts, and they're pushing in too far during the fights. Then there were others like that big final fight where it was just everybody. It was like the end of, was it The Dark Knight Rises or whatever, where just everyone's fighting and you can't really see what's
Can't see
going
who's
on.
who.
There's no point. There's no story to the fight.
Correct.
Morpheus was shooting all over the place. It was hard to see any kind of opportunity for slow motion.
They only did bullet time one time,
Yeah.
the entire thing.
The first Matrix, the first fight in the dojo, that was a great scene because it told you a story from the time that he doesn't believe in himself, and then he gets challenged, and at the end he overcomes the challenge.
Yeah.
Watch the fight scene between Neo and the new Smith.
Yeah.
On mute.
probably people will wonder, why did Smith resurrect as well?
Because
He
It's connected to Neo.
yes.
Right. So everybody who was connected to Neo and Trinity, once they saw that they were reawakened and they were breaking through, they all started to become their own thing as well.
A guy who wants to rip your heart out of your chest is literally 2 feet away from you
2 feet all this time.
all this time.
But he was kind of locked in as well.
Yeah.
You know, he
Yeah.
wasn't full Agent Smith. Not until the fight at the company.
Yeah.
Then everybody kind of started to wake up.
Yeah.
You know, and that's when he saw the gun. He was like, "Wait a second, I remember who I am now." And, you know, and he started shooting the Desert Eagle.
Neo defeats him eventually with a Kamehameha wave, and then they go out to save Trinity. But then Trinity needs to be, for her to be saved, she needs to believe herself that there's something else out there. Okay, so then they try to save. They almost save her, but then Neil Patrick Harris comes into the picture, and then he sort of tries to explain that the reason why he resurrected them, that because they create more power, they need to be close to each other, but keeping them emotionally apart.
Yeah.
You know, what's the term? Fear and
Fear and Love.
fear and love or something. Yeah.
No, it's the power of love.
Yeah. So that's what keeps the power going. So that's what they're trying to do. That's when Agent Smith, the new Agent Smith, comes in and starts to fight
Yeah.
the analyst because he's waking up himself.
But now Zion no longer exists. It was lost in the war. Now they're in a place called Io, which has been improved with technology, with help of the machines. They have an atmosphere. They have, you know, good food. They have like places for people to go and relax. It doesn't feel like, you know, they're stuck in a cave. And the only thing they can do to relieve stress is like a dance once a week.
Yeah.
You know, they can live like a fairly normal life and the machines don't bother them.
But still a sucky place though, with everything covered. I mean, your atmosphere is still covered with smog or something.
Yeah, but you're alive.
But you're alive. You're
I mean,
When you say better than nothing, I think there's a limit when you say better than nothing, you know?
you can make any place enjoyable, especially if you have friends and loved ones. That's the main thing. If you have decent food, you have good friends and family, you're fine.
That's true.
If you're by yourself and you don't have stuff to do, you're probably going to be depressed and want to throw yourself off a building or something. But
If I were given a choice between the Matrix and Zion, for me to be honest, I'd stay in the Matrix.
You take the so you're a blue pill.
I'll take the blue pill. No,
You take
seriously,
the-
man. Why would you want to run? Always be on the run, you know?
Well,
yeah, but it depends on what are you in the Matrix though? Are you like a trash collector? No, you know.
No, they could be a like Cypher wish.
Yeah, he
his
wants to be
wish.
an
I'll be
actor.
actor. Yeah.
yeah, it must be famous.
I did like the fact that in this one, she became basically the one. Like she gets all the powers, and it felt organic. It didn't feel forced. It didn't feel cheesy. Like because it took her longer to accept it and everything else. She now, you know, and after how they showed at the end that Neo kind of got back to what he was, but at first she was the one who saw it.
She was the badass in this movie.
Yeah.
Big time.
You're right. It was not forced, but I'm still used to Neo as the badass.
Yeah.
Well, think of it this way. You ever saw Game of Thrones? All right, there's this guy who got brought back to life. Beric Dondarrion.
Then there, yeah.
Okay? So, remember that one time he said every time he comes back, a piece of him
Loses.
loses.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. I'd say put the same concept in Neo.
Sure, did basically. He couldn't do the stuff he did before.
Yeah. I mean, he got a new thing, but it wasn't the same thing.
The trilogy, the first movies, they had like a really cohesive look. Everybody was like basically fetish gear,
Goth.
leather and all that kind of stuff. And this one, people were more individualized. Most of them looked really cool, except for the one girl who had like little swirly things, like the little number 8 on her hair and stuff, and like hundreds of bobby pins. That was such a weird look. I was like, oh, that's kind of gross. I mean, her character was cool, you know, and how she got taken out 'cause she was helping and all that kind of stuff. Like all the new cast, I really liked. Neil Patrick Harris was perfect as like,
The analyst.
yeah, because he always is good at like being smarmy and you know that kind of thing. The guy who played Smith, I really like him as an actor, especially from like the David Fincher show, the Mindhunters or whatever.
Oh, okay.
You know, so I thought he would do pretty good.
What do you think of the guy who played Morpheus? Yeah.
He's amazing in everything. I've never seen him in anything that he wasn't awesome.
I like the actor. Yeah, I like it. I just don't understand why they couldn't have bonus first. But as you said,
He's dead. Lawrence Fishburne's
Matrix,
character.
yeah, Matrix Online was canon. So
He got killed by the fly assassin thing.
Oh God.
I'd love to see that fly system.
It's weird.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, the thing is, I see the way I view the actors, the new ones that came. I felt like they were trying. So instead of being unique or having their own take on the character,
You know, one of
Yeah,
the
they're programs.
there were programs, bots, programs, things like that. So they couldn't be anything else. And not to mention, Neo had control, or sneaked in a control, or something like that. So he was able to transform them into whatever he wanted.
later on.
Later on.
Yeah, but what I felt like, I mean, even this movie was trying to be what the first was instead of actually being more than what the trilogy was.
I mean, yes and no. I think it kind of rehashed parts of the first one a little bit too, but I also think it definitely tried to differentiate itself. A lot of people were agitated that they didn't go all like green for when they're in the Matrix.
Yeah.
But the thing is, that's like an analog thing. That's like an old school thing.
True.
There's no modems anymore. There's no like green computer screen
So
stuff.
BIOS,
Yeah, you know.
DOS based thingy. Yeah.
So it's not like you have to have it look like that. It can look like how a modern computer and modern games and all that kind of stuff would.
There's no dial, there's no modem. There is just internet.
Yeah,
Everywhere.
everything's instant. What you want now, you get. You know, so it's the same thing with how they unplugged and all that stuff.
Yeah, prove how they upgraded, how they infiltrate the Matrix, how they move around the Matrix, how they basically do everything.
Programming the bots, you know, there's all these things that they tied in. They didn't make it super obvious. They mentioned it and stuff, but they don't like put it in your face.
Yeah.
So there were a lot of things that they brought in from modern times, which they weaved in there really well. I enjoyed it. I had a good time. There were things when I was watching, I was like, man, I wish they would have done this with the fights. You know, wider shots, longer takes, because everybody who was involved has the physicality. Like even the guy who played Smith, he's a Broadway actor and he does dancing, singing. Like he's very physical. He can do it.
What we've seen in the first three movies, right? So you're looking for sci-fi, action, and philosophical ideologies.
Yeah.
All combined into one. Yeah. But the thing is, if you're looking at Matrix 4, if you're looking at action, it's nerfed.
So.
So
Yeah.
philosophical ideologies.
The first third of the movie was almost all
Yes,
that. There were
that's
two
like that.
action scenes, and the rest was philosophy and free will and
Yes.
all that kind of stuff. There, disorders and mental illness. Like, so they do a lot of that stuff. So again, so for the Matrix,
For the Matrix.
it's so.
Yeah.
If you compare it to a lot of other like sci-fi action stuff, it's better than average. I think the problem with this one was people went in with the expectations of, let's say, the first two.
Like
The third
me.
one was kind of whatever.
Yeah.
Especially the
It was
trailer
leading up to the just
trailer
one fight.
was such a banger, dude. The trailer
Yes,
was
yes.
amazing, and the way they cut it to the White Rabbit song by Jefferson Airplane, I had chills. I watched it like 5 times in a row because me as a film editor and a cinematographer, I was like, oh my god, this is gonna be better than the others. And then I saw it and I was like, yeah, it's pretty cool. I had fun, but this
It's-
is not what the trailer showed.
Yes.
It's watchable. You'd be entertained, but you wouldn't, as you say, it's a so-so.
Rating. I say for me, probably 7 out of 10, something like that. What about you?
6.
So 5 over 10.
Oh, 5, 6, 7.
So equals about a 6.
Yeah.
That's a good roundup, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some people did say, don't watch it before I actually watched it.
Anytime anyone says don't watch something, don't listen to them, man. Watch it. A friend of mine said that Thor: Love and Thunder was horrible. Don't watch it. Okay, it's not super good, but it was still fun.
Yeah.
Don't listen to anyone if they tell you not to watch something, not to play something. Do it for yourself.
Make sure to comment on the video. Yes.
Like, share, and subscribe. Smash that like button.
Smash the like button!
Well, I'm not gonna go. My guitar is gonna fall off if I say something like that. So I'm just gonna stay cool, calm, and collected. Great podcast, guys. Thanks for coming. Really.
Thanks for having me.
So our next topic is gonna be gaming. So make sure to comment on the video below. We're gonna be talking about our next topic when upcoming games, but which ones? See if you can find out what games we're gonna be talking about. Recently announced. This was Sengoku QTR,
Nobody want Kenobi.
Geeky, I'm geeky.
and we're signing off. Ciao, guys.
Love you. Bye.